Welcome to Yeukai Business Show, UK's premier business show where we feature business thought leaders, high achievers, and industry experts. Today's episode is brought to you by World Outsourcing Solutions Limited, a company that specializes in helping executive business owners with virtual assistant services and business growth systems. Here's your host, Yeukai Kechidori.
Hey, welcome back. It's Yeukai here. So excited about today's show because today we're going to talk about something that truly make a difference in increasing your sales. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever created a product or tried to create a product? You've done everything you can to make sure that the product is perfect. But when it came to selling that product, you fall flat on your face. In fact, you did not have any sales to the point that you were discouraged and you didn't know what you did wrong. Well, could it be because your copywriting was not at par? In fact, maybe you didn't do the right thing or didn't do the right job with your copywriting. Well, if you found yourself in that place, today, my guest, Stephanie, is going to show you how you can improve your skills when it comes to copywriting or when you're putting together something that is going to sell your products over and over and over and over again. So with me is Stephanie. Welcome, Stephanie, to the show. So delighted to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Awesome. I know you're joining us not from the US. Where are you calling us from?
I'm currently in Suriname, a very small country in South America that's near Brazil and Guyana. So it's northeast South America, but I'm from the US.
Yes. Yeah. We are so delighted that you could be here because one of the things I hear from business owners over and over again is how their products are not selling or their service is not being sold as much as they would want them to be. And you have a solution a lot of people need today. So to get us started, please, Stephanie, tell us a little about yourself. Introduce yourself to my audience today.
Sure. So my name is Stephanie Mojica, and I'm a copywriter. I also am a copywriting and book development coach. And I've been copywriting, I guess, since I was a teenager, but I'd like to try to say my post-high school experience. So I've been copywriting for 24 years. I was also a journalist for 17 years, but always was copywriting on the side and coaching, editing people. So, yeah, I'm really excited about copywriting. It's something that even I, as a lifelong writer, have to continuously improve, especially with so many people online right now. And I want to tell a story about somebody I worked with, a guy I'll call Jonathan.
Yes.
So I met him about 5 years ago in a writing class because, like I said, even though I've written my entire life, I always believe there's something to learn. So we were in a writing class together. And he's a transcriptionist, and basically what that means is he types the words from audio and video files. And he had been doing this, I think, for 25 years at that point. And he used to make really good money, but then medical privacy laws changed in the United States. Something called HIPAA came out. So doctors couldn't send him their notes and, dictate stuff anymore because of these laws. So he lost about 80% of his business overnight.
Wow.
When we met, he was making about $400 a month. We were both living in Kentucky at the time, so it's not an expensive U.S. state, but I mean, the man's rent was $450 a month. So he wasn't even making his rent without credit cards. So he was looking for a job. Yeah, he was looking for a job, even though he didn't really want one. The jobs in Kentucky that were open to him were like substitute teaching, working in the Amazon.com warehouse, etc. And he just was not looking for that. So we got to know each other pretty well. And he was like, I really don't want to go. How are you making money? Because I was editing and copywriting at the time. And I was like, well, I can give you some marketing tips and also do some copywriting for you. So he's like, okay. And he pulled out his credit card. I didn't charge him very much, but, he pulled out his credit card. And, in about one afternoon, I wrote him a simple one-page website profile and a cover letter, pitch letter he could use to introduce himself to potential clients online. So within about a month, maybe 3 to 4 weeks, he was making $1,000 a month. He was like, wow. He was like telling all his neighbors, this woman's awesome, blah, blah, blah. Well, within 2 to 3 months, he was making $5,000 a month transcribing mainly for attorneys and book publishers.
Wow.
And over 5 years later, he still, despite COVID and despite everything, is making over $5,000 a month, has actually been sent on a couple of, actually I think 4 trips, because he went every year except this year because of COVID, but he has been on 4 trips where they actually will fly him to a university to literally take notes for legal conferences and stuff like that. So he gets free trips to New York and gets paid for it. So he's pretty happy. And that's just one example of how I've helped my clients over the past 24 years.
Amazing. And that is all from one sales page which you've created for him.
Yes, it was actually pretty short. It's like a 1-page, kind of like an about page, about what he can do. And then a 1-page letter that he could send to people who were looking for transcriptionists. So 2 pages.
Amazing. It really makes a difference. I remember when we were selling a particular course not too long ago, we just had to change a few things on the copy, and the sales just went up. It's incredible. And what you provide is truly invaluable to business owners. That's why we have you here today to share with my community what works when it comes to putting together a copy that is going to get the visitor to your website or even to your office to say, you know what, here's my credit card. I want what you've got. So we want to talk about what you've discovered, the 3 little known secrets to writing, converting copy. Tell us how you discovered these secrets before we dive deep into them.
Okay. I mean, I guess like everybody else, I wasn't born knowing this stuff, and I've struggled with it a bit in my own business. So I have been mentored by people, but also I've just really sat down and tried to think about what makes me buy. That's what I try to think, because I am constantly pitched to, I constantly see ads on Facebook. What makes me want to buy? So I've tried to be on both sides of the fence, because, it doesn't matter if it's $27 or $27,000. You're asking somebody to part with their hard-earned money. Yeah. And you really need to think what's the buyer looking for? So yeah, I created this, and it's in an ebook, 3 little known secrets to create words that sell, which you can find at gettheirattentionnow.com/ebook. That's gettheirattentionnow.com/ebook. But I'd like to talk to them about them in more detail right here. So the first thing is, and this is what my client Jonathan was doing wrong. He wasn't writing using a you focus, Y-O-U. So that's my first secret, right? Using a you focus. Right. I see so much copy where somebody's like, I earned this degree. I have worked with so-and-so. And there is a place for that. Please don't get me wrong. But when you're trying to sell to somebody, they really want to know what's in it for them. So my rule is generally to use the word you, yours, etc. about twice as much as I'll use I, me, or mine. You really want to focus on what your customer's problem is and how it can be solved by buying whatever you're selling, whether it's a product, course, or service. So that's a main thing that a lot of people I see are doing wrong. Even people who have been to law school, master's degrees in theater, like the man I was just talking about, they're great at writing, but that's not the same as being good at writing words sell or copywriting. And actually, copywriting is a skill that can be learned pretty easily. So write using a you focus is my first step or secret.
Amazing. What sort of say mistakes that you see people when they attempt to use the you focus that people fall into, perhaps without even them noticing?
I would be careful. You don't want to come off as judgy. You don't want to be, because some people think you means you're up in their face. Not necessarily. Just like, for example, I'd like to ask questions. Have you been staying up? I don't know. I think it's have you been awake at 2 a.m. worrying about how you're going to make more money? But you don't want to say things like, you can't pay your bills. This is going to make them feel attacked and ashamed.
Yeah.
And I've seen copy that does this. I don't think it's effective. If I have a problem, I already feel bad about it. I don't need that person to make me feel worse. But I want them to know I want to know that that person cares about what I'm going through and understands what I'm going through. So I think asking questions in your copy is a good thing, but you don't want to be too direct or too blunt by saying things like, you can't pay your bills, you aren't making enough money. That's just a little too rude, too in your face. So you can misuse it.
Yeah, amazing. Absolutely amazing. I love that you are trying to not be in their face, because no one wants that for sure. And in your opinion, what is the best way, perhaps, to work on this one, or maybe to take the first step?
Well, I definitely, think it's always good to have some kind of mentor or partner or help. But like on your own, I would definitely just really try to sit there and think. Put yourself into other person's shoes. Like, what has made you want to buy something in the past? What has made you not want to buy something in the past? Go look, and I do this all the time. Go look at the sales pages for things you've bought. I especially tend to buy things from Facebook ads, especially if it's like $27 and it's going to help the problem I have. Go back and look at that sales page. What made you buy? And it's usually they really seem to understand a problem. They asked me questions that I thought about in my head. And, sometimes, yes, they had to show me the ad a bunch of times because, we can get overwhelmed by buying too many of these things. But, generally, I do buy if they demonstrate that they have a solution for a problem I have and they understand the problem that I have.
Yeah, amazing. When you talk about buying, I buy a lot of things myself, especially when it comes to the online business, because I'm on the line. I want to know what others are doing. So I'm always, buying. I mean, that crew that buys materials, but it's all for the purpose of benefit. I have to be very careful that I don't get told off, for buying a lot more things that I need. But your copy proves that, if it is well written, people are going to press that buy button. Let's talk about the second secret that you've discovered over the years.
So my second secret is don't focus on the features of your offer. So allow me to explain that.
Yeah.
I see a lot of copy where people are saying, you're going to get a 333-page workbook. You're going to get 6 videos, et cetera, et cetera. That's important, but I really don't care how many videos are in it. What are you going to teach me in these videos? How is this going to help me solve a problem? So again, just really elaborate on what this product or service is going to do for this person's life. For example, I'll give you like I have this mini course. It's in the book publishing space, so we won't really talk about much except as an example of copywriting. It's called, get your book out of your head into reality. And one of the things I have is clarify your book idea. Even if you currently have 0 ideas or a gazillion, you'll learn how to choose the best idea for this book so you can finally move forward with the content. That's actually part of video 1, but I don't sit there and say, video 1 has X, Y, and Z. I just spell out in 5 bullet points what you're going to get in this 5-module course. Yes, I mentioned it's a 5-module course because people do think of things like that. But I go into like 5, bullet points about exactly what they're getting without, constantly saying video 1, video 2, video. I don't do that.
You
so
remind me.
Really explain what you get.
Yes, you remind me of the internet marketing events I went to way back in 2010. That's where they used to sell a lot of features that when you come to this class, there's this, and things have evolved ever since, which is incredible. So what should they do instead?
Again, it's like this really important about what's the transformation. For example, you could say something like, uncover hidden challenges that may sabotage your ability to write and publish your awesome book. Instead of something like, you will get 4 group coaching calls a month, each of which is approximately 2 hours long. It's just really explaining what problems you're solving, what the transformation is going to be. Yes, there's going to be a place to put those details in, but don't focus on it. And another problem that actually goes along with this is people think that they're focusing on the benefits, but they're really writing what I call vague, VAGUE copy. So, like, for example, I've seen health coaches write, you will feel great after going through my coaching program. You will feel more energy after going through my coaching program. That's a little better, but it's still not specific enough. It's like, what is feeling great? What feels great to me may feel bad to you, and vice versa. So, like, and this is where testimonials can really come in. Like, on some of my sales pages, I have, like, especially videos. Videos are becoming more popular, video testimonials. But, like, what's the transformation? What's the result going to be? How is it going to better the life? Because anybody can say, this is going to make your life better. It's kind of like that old classic snake oil salesman. Oh, this is the potion that's going to make everything go away. But what is everything?
Yeah, amazing. Absolutely amazing. Say somebody is writing a copyright now. They are in the middle of doing that and accidentally found this episode and they discover that they've made all mistakes. How can they go back and in a fast way, correct these mistakes right now?
So I would go through your copy, and first, this is actually my third secret. Make sure it's visually friendly. Are you writing like a huge wall of text? You know what I mean? Are your paragraphs like too long? Especially when people are reading online, make sure that your paragraphs are maybe 2 sentences long. Especially, I think 80% of folks are reading ads and such on their mobile phones. So mobile screens are pretty small. So you can go through, you can make sure that none of your paragraphs are too long. Bullet points are also really helpful because the brain just processes them differently. Another thing you can still go through and make sure it's easy on the eyes. Another thing you can do is go through and, like, when you make a point, like, for example, somebody will say something like, my coaching program will make you feel wonderful. You need to ask questions in your mind like, so what? Like, it sounds kind of rude, but you got to be kind of rude with yourself. Like, so what? Why should I care? How? I was a journalist, so I guess I'm really good at thinking things like that. But we had who, what, where, when, why, and how. That was the main questions we're supposed to focus on for newspaper articles. And when it comes to copywriting, you really need to focus on the why when you're copywriting. Like, why? You do the how when you provide your service or your product and that. And the who is important too. Because if you're writing and selling to everybody, you're writing and selling to no one. And this is like a bonus pro tip. Like, come up with a client avatar. Like, who is your ideal client? Just think of the person in your mind. Like, my ideal client generally is somebody who's in their 40s, 50s, often a female, although I've worked with plenty of men, somebody who's a coach, consultant, attorney. So just think of things like that. And you need to write to that audience. That doesn't mean that other people aren't going to buy from you. I get people from everywhere, people from every age, people from a variety of businesses. But you can be more specific when you're thinking of a specific type of person. Like, the problems that an attorney has are probably going to be different from the problems that a student has.
Amazing.
So you can really address the problems when you know who you're writing to. And people always argue with me on this. Well, I don't want to exclude anybody. And like I said, you're not necessarily excluding people. Other people will resonate with it. And if they think you're offering something great, they'll still come to you. But it's just, again, it's important to be focused and specific instead of vague.
Yes. Yeah. I love what you just say about specifics. I remember when we started focusing on specifics, even on our show here, the number of engagement we got was so, went high because we were very specific, and the people we are talking to, they respond to that because they resonate. They say, oh, this person understands me, so I might as well listen to him. So that specifics are very important. In fact, we know our avatar is, his name is Bill. He's 50 years of age with 2 children who are at the university going age, and is a business owner, been in business for the last 5 years. I can go on and tell you what Bill stands for, what he's against, what his values are, what his fears are, and what are his deepest desires. So it's very, very specific. So I can use that in my marketing material. My ideal client is Bill. That at one point I was on a webinar explaining my ideal client, and all the fears, what it stands for. Literally, my avatar was teaching on that. And when we came to the Q&A, somebody sent a message and said, you know what, I'm Bill. You just described me exactly as I am. No wonder why I'm in this class.
Wow, that's awesome. That's a great story.
Which was funny. You know, it has a different name, but he said, cool, that's just me.
That's hilarious.
That's awesome. We're coming toward the end of our time here, Stephanie. You've shared 3 amazing tips for business owners to implement, if they want to improve their copy. I know that somebody is going to want to learn more. Where can they find that information? Or maybe you have a class to share with my audience here today.
So as far as copywriting, if they want to get in touch with me, they can go to my website, gettheirattentionnow.com/ebook. That's the best way to get a free copy of 3 Little Known Secrets to Create Words That Sell. All the courses I have right now are in relation to book writing and book publishing, but I'll just mention one of them. It's called Get Your Book Out of Your Head into Reality, because some people are doing a book as a form of copywriting to really be like a business card, really show off their expertise. And you can also see an example of awesome copywriting there. So if you want to go, it's getthatbookwritten.com, getthatbookwritten.com. But yes, for the copywriting, the best thing to do is go to gettheirattentionnow.com/ebook. You can also email me at that's Nancy, FO, at gettheirattentionnow.com. That's info@gettheirattentionnow.com.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Are you also on social media?
Yes, I am on all sorts of social media. LinkedIn, you can look me up, Stephanie Mojica, M like Mary, OJICA. It says West Hollywood, California, because that's where my home is. You can find me on Facebook. We have a Get Their Attention Now page and Facebook group. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Clubhouse. So I'm pretty easy to find. You can just type in my name, and usually something will pop up with me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, Stephanie. And
Thank you.
last few words to my listeners here before we wrap up here, Stephanie.
I would just say, don't overthink it when you're trying to write your copy. Just really, I think that's part of the problem. Some people try to overthink it, and really people want to read more natural sounding copy. It's not like writing a law school paper. It's not even like writing a journalistic article. Although some elements will come into it. It's definitely not like creative writing, whether you're a playwright, a poet, etc. It's really trying to demonstrate to that person that you know their problem, you understand their problem, and you can solve their problem. And nobody likes to be talked down to or ripped off. So I would just always focus on the other person and don't do it in a judgmental or shaming way. Ask questions like, are you staying awake in the middle of the night, worry about how you're going to pay the bills instead of you can't pay your bills. So just always remember there are human beings on the other end of that credit card, and you'll do well.
Amazing. I absolutely love that simplicity. There you have it. If you want to improve your copywriting skills, you know where to go to. Just go to Stephanie Mojica. She'll show you exactly what you need to do. In fact, if you want your copy written, you can just reach out to Stephanie. She might just do you a good favor and write a copy for you so you don't have to worry about that. Just send Stephanie a quick email. And don't forget to say you met Stephanie on my business show so that Stephanie can send me a thank you message. But listen, we want you to succeed. That's why we always bring you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Amazing people to come on the show so that they can help you. And finally, if you're on Clubhouse, I'm always on there. Please come back or just come in and raise your hand, come on stage to say hi and tell us how you're getting on. In fact, I've got a course out now where I'm teaching people how to start, scale, and monetize their podcast. So if you have been thinking about creating your podcast, or even if you are running your own podcast, you want to scale it or you want to monetize it, just reach out to us. And if you say you are from the show, we might be able to do something special for you because I always want to treat my listeners in a special way. So with that said, I want to wish you a great day. Remember, the best is yet to come, and there's enough for all of us. Stephanie, thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. And goodbye, everybody. Wish you all the very best. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Yeukai Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.yukaibusinessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18 or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.